The big story today, the United States designated the Resistance Front or TRF as a foreign terrorist organization over its involvement in the Pahalgam terror attack. This is a positive move for India's war against terror. However, many see it as double speak. Remember, it was just a month ago that Donald Trump hosted Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir at the White House over lunch, and even today's statement avoids mentioning Pakistan. Take a look.
Hours after terrorists gunned down 26 people in Pahalgam on April 22nd, the Resistance Front or the TRF claimed responsibility for the attack. The TRF, also known as the Kashmir Resistance, however denied involvement days later as tensions escalated between India and Pakistan. The US State Department has now designated the TRF, a shadow outfit of Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba, as a foreign terrorist organization and specially designated global terrorist. Designating an organization as a foreign terror organization makes financing, aiding, advising, and helping such organizations a crime under the US law. The US called Pahalgam the deadliest attack on civilians in India since 2008 Mumbai attacks by the Lashkar. The TRF has earlier claimed responsibility for several attacks against Indian security forces. The designation of TRF as a terrorist outfit is a diplomatic win for New Delhi and a blow to Islamabad as it comes days after President Donald Trump hosted Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir for lunch at the White House. India welcomed the US decision to designate TRF as a terrorist group, reiterating India's zero tolerance to terror.
I've spent most of my life in the world of diplomacy. And in diplomacy, you are negotiating all the time. And to negotiate, you have to really out-prepare and out-think your competitors.
The families of Pahalgam terror attack victims also hailed the move by US.
Decision, it has really made us very happy. From past so many years, India used to tell that all the Pakistani organizations, they are all terrorist organizations. Even now the Trump government is also of the same view.
ये बहुत ही एक अच्छा और सराहनीय कदम है यूएस सरकार का।
साफ मिला है क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट ने इस पे पूरी पाबंदी लगाई है और इनको नाकामयाब किया है, तो हम बहुत खुश हैं इस पे।
पाकिस्तान के बिहाफ पे मेरे दो इतराज़ात थे।
Just 2 months ago, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar had claimed success in altering the UN Security Council press statement on the Pahalgam terror attack by removing any mention of TRF. But with the US blacklisting the TRF, Islamabad will find it tough to explain their support for the terrorist organization.
Now, when the United States has named and shamed TRF, designating it as a special designated global terror outfit, Pakistan is exposed once again. India has welcomed the move, saying that it shows that how India and United States share strong ties when it comes to counter-terrorism. This is Shivani Sharma with camera person Ashwini Helen for India Today from New Delhi.
Let me go across to a special guest now. Rajesh Narwal is father of Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who was tragically killed in the Pahalgam attacks. राजेश जी, बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप आए हैं। जब आपने ये सुना कि कम से कम TRF को आज टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन घोषित किया गया है, क्या आप संतुष्ट हैं? क्या आपको लगता है कि अभी भी आपको इंसाफ नहीं मिला जब तक वो आतंकवादी जिन्होंने ये हमला करवाया उनको नहीं पकड़ा जाता, उनको नहीं बख्शा जाता, उनको मारा जाता है?
इसमें ऐसा है साहब, आई एम ऑडिबल सर?
यह बिल्कुल है आप सर।
हाँ, तो इसमें मेरा कहना ये है सर कि इसमें इंसाफ वाली बात नहीं है, क्योंकि ये जो टेररिज्म है ये मेरी अकेले की समस्या नहीं है, ये मेरी आपकी पूरे राष्ट्र की और पूरे ग्लोब के हर सिटीजन की समस्या है। और आतंकवाद का जो एक्टिविटीज़ हैं इनको ख़त्म करना अकेले भारत राष्ट्र की ही एक कर्तव्य नहीं है या केवल यूएस का ही कर्तव्य नहीं है, ये पूरे ग्लोब पर जितने भी राष्ट्र हैं उन सरकारों का कार्य है और सबको मिलकर लामबंद होकर के इस तरह की एंटिटीज़ और एक्टिविटीज़ करने वाले कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, इंस्टीट्यूशन है या आइडियोलॉजी है या कोई यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं इस तरह की, या उनको शरण देने वाले हैं या उनको फंडिंग करने वाले हैं, किसी भी तरह से डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली जो भी उसमें इंडल्ज है, तो उन सबका खात्मा करना, खात्मा मीन्स खात्मा करना, स्पष्ट शब्द है ये एकदम से। तब जाकर के
यानी
जस्टिस होगा पूरे ग्लोब के लिए, क्योंकि ईच एंड एवरी सिटीजन ऑफ दिस ग्लोब इज कंसर्न्ड।
3 महीने हो चुके हैं या 3 महीने होने वाले हैं जो पहलगाम में हुआ।
जी,
गुस्सा अभी उतना ही है?
गुस्सा, मेरी बात तो अलग है, मैं तो खुद विक्टिम हूँ इसमें। गुस्सा तो लोगों के मन में अब भी उसी तरह है, क्योंकि मेरे पास फ़ोन आते रहते हैं, कहीं न कहीं से कुछ लोग मिलने भी आते हैं पूरे इंडिया से, शायद ही कोई सिटी बचा हुआ जहाँ से मेरे पास पर्सनली यहाँ चल के लोग नहीं आए, 1 या 2। तो उनमें मैं देखता हूँ क्या-क्या आवेश है उन लोगों में, किस तरह से टेररिज़्म के खिलाफ़ मतलब वो चाहते हैं कि कड़ा एक्शन हो, और वो कड़ा एक्शन हमारी सरकार ने लिया भी, सिंदूर ऑपरेशन के नाम से, और उससे मेरे हर देशवासी को, राष्ट्र के हर निवासी को एक सांत्वना मिली कि हमने एक्शन करके दिखाया।
लेकिन जिन्होंने करवाया, जो वो पहलगाम आतंकवादी है, वो अभी तक घूम रहे हैं, उनको पकड़ा नहीं गया है। क्या आप समझते हैं केवल उनको पकड़ना काफ़ी नहीं है? पाकिस्तान सरकार या जिन्होंने इनको संरक्षण दिया है, उनको भी एक तरह से कटघरे में रखना पड़ेगा। आज की भी स्टेटमेंट पाकिस्तान का जिक्र नहीं करती।
सर, इस सवाल का जवाब मैं अपने पहले ही आंसर में दे चुका हूँ कि
जी।
इस तरह के इंस्टीट्यूशंस को, एंटिटीज़ को, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कोई भी शरण देता है, फंडिंग देता है, किसी भी तरह से डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली हेल्प करता है, तो उसके लिए इस ग्लोब पर कोई जगह नहीं है।
जी।
नहीं है तो नहीं है। उसके लिए हम सभी राष्ट्रों की सरकारों को एकजुट हो करके इनके खिलाफ काम करने की ज़रूरत है, और इनका सफाया करना। सफाया मीन्स एक ही
मैं
वर्ड है, डेथ इनकी।
अगर आज आपके सामने जनरल आसिम मुनीर होते, क्या कहते हैं उनको आप?
कहीं न कहीं देखो, लश्कर-ए-तैयबा जो है वो हम भी पढ़ते आ रहे हैं बचपन से कि वो पाकिस्तान उसको संरक्षण देता है, और जो टीआरएफ है, टीआरएफ कहीं न कहीं क्या स्पष्ट तौर पर ये उसी का शैडो है और उसी का मुखौटा है। तो मीन्स दैट इज़ टैंटामाउंट टू लश्कर-ए-तैयबा। तो
जी।
इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं लगती मुझे, मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन है कि ये पाकिस्तान प्रोजेक्टेड ही है, और उसी ने इसको सब कुछ किया है। और यदि आप आसिफ मुनीर की बात कहें कि मेरे सामने होता, तो मैं कुछ सवाल उनसे करता, कम से कम ये सवाल तो करता कि जो दुःख मुझे है, आपको वो दुःख कब फ़ील होगा? तब होगा यदि उसके घर से एक बच्चा कोई जाए, मेरा इकलौता बेटा जैसे इसमें मैंने खोया, शहीद हुआ। 6 दिन पहले उसकी शादी हुई है, 3 दिन पहले रिसेप्शन हुई है, और तीसरे दिन वो दुनिया में नहीं है। पुत्रवधू मेरी जो 5 दिन की पहले शादी हुई है, उसके सामने ये सब इतना एकदम ट्रॉमा में आ गई बेटी हमारी वो। तो ये उसको उस बहुत सारे सवाल हैं, सामने हो तो
जी।
पूछें उस आपके माध्यम से कुछ
नहीं,
ना।
ज़रूर। उनको सवाल बहुत हैं, हमारे भी हैं, आपके भी हैं, देश के, दुनिया के हैं। पर इस समय आपने हमसे बात की नरवाल साहब, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू।
I want to raise those questions. The US has blacklisted TRF. Is it a blow to Pakistan? Will this really stop any funds for TRF? What really happens next in the war on terror? I'm joined by two special guests again. Casey Singh is former bureaucrat, former diplomat, senior IFS officer, and Raymond Vickery, who's been with us in the past on many shows, joins me from the United States, senior associate at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Let me come to you, Mr. Vickery, first. The United States today declaring that the TRF will be a designated terror organization. Does it really change anything on the ground, given the fact that the statement just doesn't mention Pakistan and Pakistan's role in sponsoring groups like TRF?
Well, thanks very much for having me. It seems to me that this is a very welcome development. One wonders, though, why it took so long. After all, the Pahalgam attack was 3 months ago, and just now getting around to this designation. To me, it's only marginally important. We've had designations like this for LET, Jaish-e Mohammed for some time, and the problem still persists. That having been said, it is absolutely necessary for great democracies like India and the United States to stand shoulder to shoulder against terrorism. The big issue, of course, is how do you resolve the overall question to build peace and prosperity in the face of radical Islamic terrorism? The United States, failed miserably in Afghanistan over 2 decades and $3 trillion in expenditures to really change the course of the Taliban. So it's not an easy problem, and India hasn't found out how to do it either. I do think that the idea of treating this like some sort of cricket match, and that is, hey, we got a point here because the U.S. said that we were right on this, is not the proper approach. What has to happen is the follow-up. Is there going to be some follow-up vis-a-vis Pakistan? The approach of just having might makes right, and we will force them into doing what they should is not going to work. The only long-term solution is to deal with underlying issues and have cooperation further between these two great democracies.
K.C. Singh, isn't that precisely the problem? We get very easily satisfied. The United States declares TRF as a terror organization. We all know it's a terror organization. It's an offshoot of the Lashkar. And as Raymond Vickery said, it's taken 3 months for the United States to wake up for that, and at the same time very carefully avoiding any reference to Pakistan. So should we be celebrating as this is a sign of US-India cooperation on terror, or does it also reveal the limits of the war against terror? If you take this to the United Nations, for example, China will almost certainly veto it, as they have vetoed in the past the Jaish-e-Mohammed.
Okay, the intention is to really name and shame Pakistan, then the Americans should take the lead in taking it to the Security Council. Although this month, Pakistan is chairing the Security Council. Regardless of that, this issue should go to the Security Council Committee, which was created under Resolution 1267, where almost 700 terrorists, global terrorists, are listed. But Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, did mention Lashkar-e-Taiba and say that this is a front for Lashkar-e-Taiba, and that indirectly links it to Pakistan. But it looks like a belated attempt to satisfy India after hosting Field Marshal Munir for a lunch, reaching out to Pakistan, getting them the IMF loan, generally ignoring India's complaints, saying that President Trump was responsible for the ceasefire. So generally he's been irritating India over the last 3 months. But then I think he has seen that Prime Minister has gone for the big summit. President Trump already has an altercation with President Lula of Brazil. And Russia has raised that the old group of India, China, Russia should start meeting again. I think the American State Department, at least, we don't know if President Trump realizes it or is worried about it. I think the State Department has made a belated attempt to balance things so that India is not pushed away and into adopting or joining groups which America is not comfortable with. And this is a way of reaching out, but it really is not enough.
Raymond Vickery, as K.C. Singh now is saying, it's really not enough. What more can the Trump administration do? And is the Trump administration really serious about it? Or is it too preoccupied with the tariff war at the moment to even worry about terror?
Well, I think there is a problem in terms of concentrating on what's important. The whole business about tariffs as being a solution to all sorts of problems is a distraction from what we have been dealing with in U.S.-India relations for decades now. What really counts here is the follow-up. It's the behind-the-scenes intelligence sharing. It's the actions together in international bodies. But again, there has to be a dealing with this on a basis other than just some sort of cricket match that we're scoring points against Pakistan and we lead in that way. Yes, we can do more. And the United States should, and it should recognize that Pakistan talks out of both sides of its mouth when it comes to terrorism, saying, yeah, they're good terrorists and bad terrorists. The fact is, the United States underlying commitment is very strong. It is supported bipartisanly in the United States Congress. But there have been so many distractions in regard to the Trump administration that it takes something like Pahalgam to try to get a concentration and focus again on a basic problem.
30 seconds, K.C. Singh. One step many believe is to get Pakistan back on the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force grey list, which to squeeze Pakistan. Do you believe that is a realistic objective? That would be seen as a true diplomatic victory or a true step ahead in this war against terror. Quick response.
Well, that would be ideal. And, you know, the resistance front was created. It was born in 2019. And don't forget that it was in 2018 that Pakistan was listed, put on the grey list by the FATF. So when they realized that all organizations and terror organizations in Pakistan were getting them into trouble, that's when they created this new front. And they said, this is not Pakistani, this is indigenous. It's in Kashmir. And this is an old game of Pakistan's. So they will create a new front and then behave as if they have nothing to do with it. So this game will go on. But the question is the Trump administration serious about it? I really doubt it. As just now put, they're too distracted by their trade war. They're distracted by now President Trump's internal problem with Epstein. There are all kinds of issues that are distracting the Trump administration. And India seems to have been put as a slightly lower priority, with the trade deal a higher priority than any terrorism concerns of India.
Let me leave it there, K.C. Singh. Raymond Victory, as always, a pleasure talking to you. Sorry that we got delayed in reaching out to you on the show tonight, but thank you both very much for joining me here on the news today.